How's it going, everyone? Out here in a beautiful afternoon. Take a little ride on the 2024 MT-07. Middle of winter and still pretty nice out right now. We're pretty lucky. Got the full Yoshimura R77 system on it. Sounds great. DB killer is installed because I'm old and I didn't tune it. I would have liked the carbon one, but they didn't have it and I was impatient. Don't mind this little dent in it from when I dropped my rear set. That just happens when you're stupid. It's all good. You're like, I got it. Took it on and off like 3 times, and one time you're like, oh, no, I don't need to tie it up. I'll be fine. Nope. Alright, anyways, let me go for a little ride and talk about what's going on. Alright, that exhaust. Ooh, beautiful. So, you guys having a good year to start, hopefully? I know depending on where you're at in the world, definitely questionable. Feeling very bad for all those people and hoping the best for them in California. That's horrible. I used to live in California. I grew up there. I mean, not exactly there, but I do have some family that lives in LA County. Some of them are actually in the evacuation zone. So it's definitely a sad deal. Sounds like a lot of mismanagement on top of horrible conditions. I know the Santa Ana winds ain't no joke. I remember growing up, they'd come through 100-mile-an-hour winds or pretty common. And when you're in a tinderbox with winds like that, it moves. I remember being on the freeway with a buddy when I was younger, running to a bike shop, and then we got stuck on the freeway and they open it up and we get stuck a little further, and then there's the freeway is actually on fire, the post on the side, and we're stopped and we're sitting right next to a fuel truck while the other side's on fire, and we're stopped so much that everyone's out of their vehicles because we've been there for like an hour, and the tanker driver looks at us and he just says, hey, if you see me running, you guys should follow me. We're like, yep, we'll do that for sure, but end up opening it up and we can get out of there. But people misunderstand how fast that stuff moves when it's dry and windy like that. It's fast. You can't outrun it. So obviously hope the best for everyone in those situations, because it's just bad times. Got my turn signal on like always. Why not? I'm sure by the time I get a bike with self-canceling turn signals, right about the time that I'll figure it out. Off to a rough start to this year for a lot of people, that's for sure. I've been doing pretty good myself. Just standard year, working, trying to get a few rides in, trying to make some content. No, I haven't been as regular as I like to be. Thought about trying a new video type every once in a while, throw in. This is going to do maybe some story time on the bike, but haven't quite worked it all the way out yet, but I think I'm going to give that a shot, see how that works out. So I seen a post on X talking about, was it Aaron Rodgers, saying that he's been took some that ayahuasca trip stuff. I don't know, never had no experience with it myself, but and since then he's been seeing the Hat Man. I definitely don't know the ins and outs, all that stuff, but that sounds terrifying. I mean, I listen to a lot of interesting type podcasts, paranormal stuff, and just different stuff, all kinds of things I like to listen to. Not that I'm necessarily believing everything, but it's fun, you know, right? I like to have a little fun listening to things like that. It's fun to believe there's still some magic in the world. Don't want it all to be just work and taxes, you know. But so I was listening to some of the deep dives in that shadow people and Hat Man, and I know as far as shadow people go, that goes back in, I don't know where that guy's going. I don't think he knows where he's going. You know, back into the old, some of the old lore, succubus and incubus and all that, right? And sleep paralysis and sleep demons and all the different terms for all the different cultures. Pretty interesting. And the Hat Man thing is a pretty interesting one too. I mean, a lot of it, you know, could easily be chalked up to once someone hears something, ideas spread, and then, you know, you're half asleep and all that. But you never know. Like shadow, it's not, we're far from knowing everything that's going on in the world. That's for sure. It's pretty interesting though, some of that stuff. I always find it's interesting when there's cultures from all around the world that have a similar tale, and they shouldn't, you know. It's just always interesting to me. That's enough of that hooligan-ness. It's always a little fun though. Spike is so easy to pop up on a wheelie. You don't even have to, I mean, just sit back a little and just a little pop with the, you know, you gotta use the clutch in first gear, just a little pop on the throttle and shift your weight back and she'll come right up. If you're not careful, she'll come up too much. Although those people were getting ready to go on their hike over there in their Subaru wagon, so I'm sure they're upset, you know. What are you going to do? I cannot wait for it to warm up. I need to get some long rides in. I need a couple days in a row of some 2-3 hour rides so I can get warmed up. So sloppy right now. I don't know if that happens to you guys. I'm sure it does, you know. It's just kind of funny. I know how fast this bike is, and throughout the summer I'll be like, you know, a little slow. But when you're not on it all the time, or I take a bunch of rides on the Eliminator, that definitely makes this thing feel quite a bit pipier, I should say. extra 25 or so foot-pounds of torque makes quite a bit of difference. And then, you know, I do want to get an air box and a tune on it, but will I? Who knows? I say I want to build this bike as much, but I also want to get a new bike. I have a million ideas. I have way more ideas than money, and unfortunately none of those ideas are how to make money. So here we are. Man, what a nice day, though. All right, let's try not to die at the four-way stop. It's always a fun one. All right, go guys, come on. All right. I guess it's better people being overly cautious than overly aggressive, right? You know, I know when you got the right of way on a bike too, but you got to be careful when some people are just so jumpy. The right of way doesn't mean anything if you get ran over. Man, if you have not had the chance to ride an MT-07, I highly recommend it. I mean, if you're obviously someone that rides much bigger, faster bikes, well, let's be honest, you're probably not even watching my channel. But you're probably way better than me and know way more about bikes than me, and I doubt I'm that entertaining. But if you have not had the chance yet, I recommend it. It's just such a fun bike. It's just like, it's not insane. It's not, you know, tire shredding, overly fast. You know, it's not 150 mile an hour freeway wheelies. Not that I could do that if I was on a bike like that. If I'm on a bike and my front tire comes off the ground at 100 miles an hour up, something went horribly wrong. All right, should we do a little acceleration test? Why not? I go too fast. That's the only problem with a loud exhaust. It does sort of kill your ability to hooligan it as much discreetly. And then you get the people too that just think you're hooliganing even when you're just cruising just because it's loud. But I don't care. I like it. It sounds good. I know there's the argument whether or not loud pipes save lives or not, and then the politically correct thing to say these days is, oh, the Doppler effect and blah 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 blah. I don't care. I know that when I'm on the freeway, people notice me with a louder exhaust, and I commute a lot in my truck, and I notice bikes coming up on me that are loud. And sometimes quiet bikes are just there. I mean, I do a good job obviously checking my blind spot, but nonetheless, I know when I hear loud bikes coming sooner. So, you know, there is that argument, right? Is you only get 30% sound going forward or whatever, but yeah, it's true. 30% sound going forward. But if you increase your overall volume level, that 30% is a higher volume level. That's just how that works. So I'm not trying to be overly politically correct, and I think being overly politically correct is a problem in the world. I'm not saying people should be rude, but the idea of everyone trying to say the right thing all the time because they want to be the good guy and the hero, it's like, no, just tell the truth. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I guess I have a habit too. I've been a little softer on a lot of my stances. I haven't really made clear on stuff just because I don't think, politically, I don't think anyone, really cares what I have to say, so why would I do that? That's not what this channel is about, but if anyone asks me, I'll tell them the truth. Lake's looking nice. Third gear loose. Yeah, after I put that pipe on, even before, but even worse, I feel like I get a little decel lean pop, and I would like to throw a tune on it, but kind of want to see what's happening with that clutch recall, if that's going to happen. Gotta cruise past these people, don't want to ruin their day. I mean, I like being a hooligan, but not a jerk. I really want to get better at wheelies this next year. Gonna start practicing on my dirt bike a little bit too. That's tough because that carburetor is hard to get perfect, and first gear is fine, but it's so fast to come up in second gear. If I'm not being slightly aggressive, I get a bit of a bog right off the bottom. So carbureted 450s are tricky like that sometimes to get dialed in. And I'm not really an expert. Ooh, we got a square body. Newer square body, newer grill. I still like them. I mean, those got that 4-speed turbo 700, right? That's good. I really like to get a late 70s K5 would be awesome. Kind of do a little dual sport build with some coilovers and air bumps and LS swaps. Something you could rally a bit, hit a little jumps, but also maybe hitting the rocks a bit, kind of dual sport it out. But it's one of my many ideas and lack of money that I have, so that's how it goes. I definitely know this bike doesn't get the views that the Eliminator does. People are so interested in that thing, or I say so, for me. Let's not pretend that I'm going viral on these videos, but I get quite a bit more views on that bike, so I tend to want to make videos with it more, just because that's kind of the goal of the channel, is grow it a little bit. But if you're going to give me a choice, this thing is so much more fun. Oh, I don't want to ride that thing at all compared to this. It's just pleasant. Alright. Don't run me over, lady. I mean, I like the seating position better. It's just a hair sportier, nothing crazy. So much torquier. The clutch is very positive. I like that, not vague feeling. Throttle response, I mean, it gets a little lurchy if you're not careful off the very bottom. And the Eliminator feels like it falls into a corner. Like this feels like you have to ride it a little bit more. I like this better. A little more of a positive feeling, I think. And I know this is nothing compared to like a good sport bike, but I don't have one of those, so I couldn't tell you. Someday I'll get one just as a once in a while bike, just because 20 plus years of construction, and, you know, getting in my mid 40s, my back can tell sometimes when I'm doing something it doesn't like. But she's perfectly fine, cruising around all slow too, not too bad. I don't think she's overly obnoxious with this system. I mean, obviously once you start hitting it a little more, she's gonna, volume level's gonna go up. Like I said, I do have the DV killer though. I'm not especially without having a tune, I don't think you should run these without the DV killer if you're not gonna tune it, because I think you're gonna really worry about getting lean conditions, especially if it's hot, or you know, you're really romping on it in the heat, engine's getting hot. That seems like a kind of a recipe for a disaster. All I know is I should be rich somehow. I feel like gotta call my dad and be like, why didn't you try harder? That's a joke, obviously. No, I wouldn't even know what to do. I mean, I would like to have some more freedom. That's what I would like to do. Get where I could just have more time to my things, endeavors I would like, I guess. Get in a little better shape. Have a little homestead. Have some animals, a little garden. Do some more rides. Tinker in the garage more. Oh, it'd be so amazing. But what are you going to do? I make bad decisions. I spent all my money, drank for a few years, quite a few years, and cleaned all that up. But the not spending money thing, that one's tough. I don't know, maybe you guys are similar situations to me, maybe not. Maybe you guys are the responsible types, which I applaud that if you are. Alright, well I feel like I've wasted enough of your guys' time, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video if you made it this far. Hope you guys would not mind liking and commenting, ask some questions if you like, interact. You know, subscribe to the channel, share it, all that good stuff. Trying to definitely want to grow this channel. Definitely a bit tough to do. I'm still learning all the things I'd like to do. But anyways, ride safe.